I have to admit that hearing this video bothers me for a number of reasons. And it's really too lengthy to get into, but it feels like what's involved here is that there is an issue of, well, I really don't know the terms. So it's very hard to correctly put it in a way that will be intelligent and succinct in terminology. But basically, in layman's terms, it sounds like it's language that's being used to reaffirm a view that's being established. And if I've ever had any problems in my life, it's with views that are established. Perhaps most of my problems in life have been with that. As a youth, I always thought I was special somehow. I always thought I had some kind of affinity with nature that other people didn't have. Maybe it was something one of my grandmothers told me. Oh, we both have blue eyes in the family, so that makes us special. We have the gift. I don't know. I think I got told a lot of nonsense, to put it clearly. I was a changeling. I was special, Right? Right. I was blonde until I was 3. So, that made me more, when my hair turned brown, everything went wrong. I don't know what happened there. But, yeah, it felt like it. But the point was that I went to a Lutheran church, 2 of them actually, or this branch of Lutheranism, or the Lutheran denomination, and I can only describe it as being, well, it's very hard to describe because I've gotten a broader perspective of religion from the internet and from my other experiences later in life. And it was a curious mixture of it was the 1970s, so imagine this is a child in California. And it was a mixture of suburban conservatism, California conservatism, which is kind of very laid back. But it's not centralist moderate. There's no mesh of views. It's just a very conservative light. And yet, in this Lutheran denomination, fog in my throat, there was an air that this was more of a social club, that your faith was really your own, and the service of the church was a form that followed the function, and the function seemed to be more like a social club, if that makes any sense. You didn't mock the religion, but everyone did the little prayer, they listened to the minister, they talked with him a little bit, and then they went to the barbecue and just talked like the rest of the 6 days a week. And keeping it in tone, with the Sunday crowd. It was really like a social club. The Little League, the things for the marriage, the charity, all of it had an air of middle class. Yeah, I could say white, but not predominantly white. Secular kind of conservatism. It's really hard to explain, but that's basically it. Now, of course, the core of the church was religious. And, of course, pastors were. But they were kind of relaxed, too. It wasn't uncommon to see them walking around in sandals. Sandals and socks. It was the code of the dress code, khaki shorts, turtlenecks, not turtlenecks, but V-necks with collars, sports shirts, nice watches, and sandals and socks, or some kind of dress tennis shoe, or a small boot, And that was the hub of social activity. And I was part of the youth group that did the church services and the catering services. We were the labor, inducted. And anything that was kind of was kept on the QT. And nothing too much was let in, of course. I think we even friggin' played a Dungeons and Dragons game there once. When I was older in middle school. Until that got heard about, then it was like, no, you can't do that, you can't do that, They didn't like that. Anyway, no one was yelling, cut off the orc's head, or anything like that, but, even whispering between each other and stuff, once word got back, that was nix. Go play pool, Okay. In any case, what got me, and one thing that I felt really betrayed by, because I guess I was a little bit more religious, because I was curious about history, and I was curious about science. And if religion was true, I was curious about, metaphysics and spirituality. I was trying to understand it because I felt this connection, and I thought I was important, or just, I don't know, I had a spiritual belief I needed to explore. And what I saw one day was they took this plastic tarp, clear plastic tarp, and they threw it over these kids, and they go, you see this? And everyone goes, yeah. And they go, this is like what God sees. God sees everything. And I had gotten the idea of the concept of an almighty creator that saw everything, but then I equated that more with a feeling or a connection. But when I heard that there was a God in heaven on a throne on a realm of clouds that could look down and use X-ray vision to see everything everyone was doing everywhere in the universe, that's when my first doubt hit me. I was sitting there with my parents. I don't know if I've told this story on YouTube before. I think maybe I have in another video. I'm not sure. But I turn to my parents and I go, what was that about? Wait a minute, nothing can see through something that isn't clear. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, be quiet, I'll be quiet. It's okay, don't worry about it. And then I knew something was hinky. Now let's bring it back to this video about giving up views. From then on, whenever I heard about the invisible blanket, I always got a feeling there might be something hinky. And whenever someone equates cultural values with religious or spiritual views, I always feel like there's something a little hinky. Someone's trying to make a connection in your mind. But the question is that connection there? Put there? Or is it just somebody else's connection taking its place? If there's no fixed point of perspective, if there's no absolute truth, if everything is relevant, then what are you relating? Because if there's a relevancy, then there must be something that's being related from one thing to another thing. So then we get back to social issues and cultural precepts and ideas of conservatism and liberalism and progressive values. And that's like, oh, okay, I see. It's another invisible blanket. Okay, I got it. Just learn to keep your mouth shut and you'll be okay. I never did. Yeah. I don't know. I'm seeing another invisible blanket. I'm sorry. That's just the way it seems to me. And it's really funny, too, because you really don't know if you're really just holding on to something that's been indoctrinated into you, or if you're just being, well, yeah, are you being deprogrammed or debriefed, counter-doctrinated? I don't know what you'd say. Which one's the Kool-Aid? And if there isn't any relevancy in the world, then it's all Kool-Aid. So it's just really this or that. And everything that says it's no, this is just one thing, and this other thing is an absence of another, is disingenuous. It must be, if there is no absolute truth. Right? It's an invisible blanket. I see it. Thank you.